Hello and welcome to ETC training videos. This is going to be the next part, and what I want to do is I want to talk about the layout of the buttons and what they do on the console, and so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Right, so here we are back in our visualizer that we've started. We spoke about the CIA, which is where the browser is, and essential information about how the console is set up and how we save, and different information that we'll get from different screens. We also spoke about how to collapse this by the little caret here, and then how to expand it. And what I would like to talk to you real quick about is going to be the layout of this console and the way that they've set this up. Now, the goal of this visualizer is eventually that you're going to be sitting down in front of a console to program. You don't actually have to. There is a way to enable this software that it can actually run shows. I believe that one or more of the theaters that are on campus right now are run with a Nomad. So the odds that you might interface with this exact piece of software running on a PC is really high. I'll be working on trying to get some more light boards, but this is the layout that you would see either on any Nomad, which is this offline software, or any of the newer ETC consoles. And it's organized in a very specific way. And it's based on how fast your fingers can move around. It's set up, you know, just like on a typewriter, right, or a keyboard. The keys are set up with the most common keys in easy reach of your fingers. Not that I type worth a crap, but the console is laid out. The console buttons are laid out in the same way. And the first thing that I want to note is going to be this numeric keypad that's right here in the middle. And it has 1 through 9 with 0 at the bottom, right? There's a decimal point to the right of the 0 and a clear, right? Which is, clear is essentially backspace, if you will, through the command line, or it clears available information in the command line, and a numeric keyboard here. At the top of the numeric keypad is for channel select, and we'll go through it more, right? But I basically have an AND key, which is the plus sign. I have a through key, which allows me to select a range. And then I have a minus key, which allows me to remove elements from a selection. So this is a numeric keypad and then selector range, but primarily this is the numeric keypad. And it's located right in the middle because it's what you're always going to be interfacing with. Almost everything that we do is going to be connected to a number, whether that's a channel number, a dimmer number, a cue number, an effects number. Everything is stored as a numeric value. We don't recall anything by its text label. We assign text labels to the numeric thing. So that's why lighting designers are number geeks. Okay, so to the right of that numeric keyboard, this area over here, these are channel modifiers, right? So over the course of designing a show or programming a show, we're going to be selecting a channel number and then modifying that channel. I will ask for a channel to go to full, or to go out, or to go at a specific value. And there are other parameters that are in here as well, right, that allow us to take channels and do very specific things with them, and we can go through them in more detail. However, these are channel modifiers, right? So we're going to be modifying channels, and you'll note that the enter key is there. A channel, add a value, enter. Channel, add a value, enter. Everything again is followed by the enter key. So here is your enter key. Okay, so now as we move to the left of the numeric keypad, this area is for memory, right? It's where we store information. It's where we store a cue. It's where we store palettes. It's where we store submasters or groups. So this is all about where we're going to store information. I take channels, I modify channels, and then I store them into some sort of look or some way that I can recall that information as a group or as a look. Also at the bottom of this is timing information. So if I want to assign a time to a cue, there's the time button. Delay is another type of timing. And then a very important key for the console is the shift key, right? The shift key, just like on, you could think of it as maybe the control button or the alt button on your computer. By pressing and holding the shift key, it allows all of the keys on the, or many of the keys on the console to do other things, right? So there is another function that is underneath, right, when I press the shift key, right? And we'll go into some of those later on. Numeric keyboard, channel modifiers, memory. Now as I move across over to the next side, this is playback. This whole area over here is for playback, right? This is my main playback fader. This is where I would actually play cues. I have a big green arrow that's down here that is the go button, right? And then above that is a back button, which would allow me to step back the cues. And then I have two faders, and I could grab them and pull them if I want, but I will suggest we just leave them at full and let the board control all of that. This is playback. The area next to that are some common features of playback, and frankly I don't use them very often with the exception of very few, but there is a go to cue 0, which is a handy key here. There's an off key, a freeze, filter, manual overrides, timing disabled. These buttons all correspond to how the playback is going to work and function. All right, so now as we move to the other side, right, so numeric keyboard, channel modifiers, memories, playback section, and now let's work our way across the top. This top row all the way across here that I'm looking at from macro down to capture, these are simply commonly used keys, right? This is just things that you're going to want to be able to get to on a fairly common basis that you're going to want to get in and out of, right? So the top section is commonly used keys, right? The area across the top, the uppermost, are more rarely used keys, and they are primarily about displays, primarily. But it allows some more quick access, right, to displays here. I'm sorry, I've actually misled you. Yes, this area over here are commonly used display keys, right? Displays will always take you into the browser. Snapshot is a way to record monitor settings, and displays and address and patching is something that you'll learn that we need to get into a lot. All right, so the next area across the top here, right, are labeled S1 through S6, and then there's a little S7 key. These are soft keys, right, and so they change with every display that you're in. If the console tried to put every single button that you were ever going to need on the face panel of this console, there would be so many buttons that you would never find your way through. So what they've done is they've put in a series of soft keys, right, that actually show you specific information depending on what screen you're in. Now, these are shown in the virtual keyboard, which we're in now. You will also note that they are replicated at the bottom of your screen, and they can be accessed from the bottom of the screen. I can click any one of these and it'll engage that soft key. Now, there are only 6 soft key buttons, and sometimes there are other features that they want to include, other menus or tools that need to be included beyond the 6. And so this little green button that's off to the side here says more soft keys. And by clicking more soft keys, I can toggle between the bold area at the bottom and the not bolded area at the top. And I can toggle back and forth between those two sets of soft keys. Now let's go back to our virtual keyboard and we'll go to our last area. The last area is over to the right, and the area over to the right is where we control our displays. Right? This is escape, which backs us out of a display. We have our live and blind command, and then we can also control how we format our information on screen with flexi and format and control our tabs. So this is actually the control of how we manage the information that we're looking at on screen. Okay, so I've covered a bunch. Numeric keyboard, channel selection, storage, memory, where we're going to put our memories, the playback system, right? Commonly used keys, display access, quick access to displays, soft keys, along with more soft keys, and then our how we manipulate our displays and what we're looking at on screen. So that's what I have for this one. I know that was a big one, but be familiar with the layout of the console and it will help a lot. I will see you in another video.